All right, so the last thing I want to talk about here was Vhilla Aggro. So I've been getting a lot of questions about getting a Vhilla guide going. I can do that eventually, but I want to share just a little bit about aggro, okay? Because this is the most complicated and the most challenging part for a lot of people. Obviously the highest DPS, and it is the most crucial as far as making it helping people's DPS and helping the team sort of maximize their output and making it easy as possible for them. So if your aggro has a good understanding and can be locked in on mechanics, then it makes the game a million times easier for everyone, and they can just really focus on the strings or the threads and the poison and the stuff on the ground. Okay, so here I am the aggro. This is me with this is a normal mode, so take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of the mechanics are the same. It's just timing is a little bit different from hard to normal. Okay, so first off, you can see here, I am pinned in the corner. And one of the things that I try to focus on, I try to tell new aggros is you have to understand, just like any other class, you have to understand your class, what you have, what mobility specifically you have available to you, and you have to understand the boss rotations up to a certain point, right? Obviously, if you know everything like I do, then it makes it way easier. But there are still some sequences that you should know as a bare minimum to help you and the team sort of position properly. And so for one, you'll see here, the skills always go green. If there's a green attack, it's going to go green, green, blue. So those are the three main front attacks, right? So you see green right there, green again here, and there's going to be a blue. And so I was able to face it to the right away from the team. And so I'm going to talk about how I was able to position that later, but that is step number one: green, green, blue. Whenever you see a green attack, it's always going to be green, green, blue. Okay, and the next thing here, as you see this poison, if you've done Vhilla, you already know, get this thing out of here. Where the ad dies, it's going to leave this corpse here. And ideally, if you as the aggro can stay in the corner, great. But sometimes you got to push yourself out here in order to give yourself room, but make sure you give yourself enough room to walk back and not walk into the corpse, right? And the corpse lasts quite a long time. It's about 30 seconds. So if you're going to be out here, you'll probably have to be out here and then allow yourself some room to move here and here, okay? But I positioned here in the corner, and then I utilize the dash skill of Paladin. So if you don't have a dash skill, and if you don't normally use a dash skill, but you have one, I highly recommend you incorporating it into your gameplay for Vhilla, because you'll find yourselves a lot of times that dashes are a tick faster than they're gonna be a tick faster in responding than double jumping. Right? And when there's times where you get stunned and the string is coming down, you want to dash. Dash may save you in getting out of the position and avoiding a string, while double jump may not. A lot of times it won't. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Dash is significantly a little bit better, in my opinion, allows you to delay a little bit longer your positioning. Make sure that she's doing an attack, and then you can dash out last second. So you see right there, I dashed out, string came down, and I dashed back in. Now, unfortunately, it faced left, but for the most part, let's be real, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get it to face right for the most part. You're not going to get it to face right and attack right every single attack. But as long as you, as the aggro, are, see, like you saw Suspended Lock there get stunned in the corner here. And if he didn't, so he gets stunned here, I get out. And if he doesn't dash here, if he like double jumps, he probably would have got hit by string there. So it was a good job by him to dash in and out. And we're going to get green here. So as we keep getting into this fight, one of the things as the aggro, once you sort of have the basics of skill mechanic, right? You see right there, I'm walking through, I sort of delay my attacks a little bit, and I use my blink as well. This is for skulls, the skulls attack that just spawned right there, right? But you'll see that I just move slightly out of there, okay? I use my dashes, but I don't over move, I always just try to walk back and forth, and using dumpling or the speed boost is huge. Okay, so you see I dashed out there, and I was a little bit late. So I'm gonna, a little tip for aggros, okay? And it happens pretty much every fight when you have to move to the left to avoid strings in the corner, is that if you dash out, right, and Vhilla starts moving, so I was able to dash out and in right there. Make a stun here, okay? So we're in a good position. You see, I'm over here dashing in and out to avoid the strings and then jump back in. In normal mode, it's a lot easier. And I walk behind. And unfortunately, got it to hit the team. But for the most part, that's okay. And you got to be careful here, calling out poisons on the skill wheel as well. And Paladins, let's be real, very good aggro, have a lot of iframes, but not as much as they used to. But Blitz Shield is one of my favorite skills as well. 10 seconds of basically not taking any damage, which is huge for poison and stuff. But you see, for the most part, I am just trying to dodge as much as possible. And so here is a little bit of a tip. So he's facing left, right? Or she's facing left, sorry. I use Blitz Shield there. It's going to happen. And I tried to face it left here. So green attack, once it teleports, if you don't know, teleports, a green attack is going to come after phase 2 and after phase 2. So then if you know that's coming, you can face the boss left. So the green attack is towards the rest of the team and you're safe, right? Because a lot of the times if the green attack faces right here, everyone has to jump into this corner and a thread could come down and sort of grief the team. So just be aware of that little mechanic, but that is kind of higher level in my opinion, something that is not baseline. It's just, it's just nice to have. So there's skulls again. I was late there. Thank for callouts. I'm an iframe here, and then purple's coming up. So here, again, purple is the one where you want to face it right, and then everyone can just stand kind of in their position to be safe. Unfortunately, there was a corpse on the ground there. That's why people died, but it is kind of, again, you can't always solve everything. You can't always save everybody. It's not always perfect in a sense. Okay, so we're just trying to be careful here. Stun. I think that was a miss stun there. And then blue getting out of range and then blink back. Always use your blinks if you can. That was an unfortunate. That's a weirdly timed attack. So now you can see about 5 minutes in, right? I'm low health, 4,000. And this is just from overtime tick damage, overtime getting attacked. It's going to happen, right? If you can get to 5 minutes, right, your HP is low, I feel like that's a win for you because you still have Heaven's Door, right? Heaven's Door at 17 seconds. So if you are, the next kind of layer of it is using your team's Hourglass and your Heaven's Door to your advantage, right? So I'm aware of it, but I'm not too worried about it yet. But you see here, I just procced it right there just to be safe and back to full health, right? So that is a nice way, even though I died, right? Didn't take any skulls, back to full health. And now I'm in a really good spot. Heaven's Door is going to come back up again after the 5 minute mark. And I have a lot of options, just can't get hit by strings, right? Because I have a lot of HP. I can tank a lot of these attacks and go from there. Okay, so now we're going to talk about sort of positioning in the corner versus positioning a little bit farther out. And this is a case-by-case scenario, but I found out that like Splash Attack here, for example, he used to be the aggro before I put my Paladin on this team. He doesn't have a dash, okay? So if he got caught stunned here and a thread was here, like I said, if he didn't have a dash to get here, and double jump would catch him, would clip him a lot of the times, and he'd take unnecessary death. So what I told him to do was to sort of stand right here, okay, as his positioning goal, right? It gives him space to push back here if he needs to, but for the most part, if he gets stunned and a string is coming down like this instance right here, if he was positioned here he would have time to just walk out of the range, right? It'd be a much closer distance to make. But if when he stands in the corner, he all cures here, he has to double jump. He's getting caught by this string more often than not. And it's just something that little things like that, understanding your class and what you have available to you, especially because bowmasters don't have iframes as a sort of get out of jail skill, you have to adjust. Okay, you can't just follow me, or you can't just follow what other people are doing because you think that's the best, right? You got to figure out what's best for you. And I think as the aggro, one of the things you have to understand is that you are the most important person to stay alive. Okay, let me repeat that. As the aggro, you have to be selfish. You dying to try and save the team is actually worse off for the team, right? If you ever run Vhilla or any boss in general, Damien, Will, if the aggro dies, chaos ensues. For any boss, if the aggro dies, chaos ensues, right? People panic. The boss is all over the place. Then that person who's aggro doesn't know what to do. So you have to be selfish and focus on yourself first. So if you have to get out of the way in strings and face the team left, face Vhilla left, and they get attacked and they get stringed, it happens, right? It happens, and the people have to adjust, right? They have to be on top of it. They have to understand that being aggro is really, really hard. And so you have to prioritize yourself, especially if your team is struggling to make it all the way to the end. It's a little bit tighter on DPS, right? The last thing you want is your aggro to be dead for the last 2 minutes or the last minute, and just people are just all over the place. Everything gets messed up, then they can't do DPS, they die, and it just, again, chaos ensues. So as an aggro, prioritize yourself. You are the number one person that needs to stay alive. If the rest of the team dies, if you die, it's very, very hard to clear. Okay? If one person goes down, let's be real, you're doing the most damage, and if one of the middle tier DPS or support dies, it's doable to still clear, right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I know you're trying to do what's best for the team, and I'm sure people are pissed off at you if you face the boss left, but tell them to F off, because aggro is very, very hard. There are going to be times when the boss is, you have to move. You have to face it left. It's an awkward timing for skills sometimes. And it is what it is. Every fight is different. You try your best, but at the end of the day, you have to do, you staying alive is what is best for the team overall. But as we continue here, right, I lose aggro here. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Deaths, losing aggro. I lost my burst. It got messed up. I don't know if you guys saw my divine echo. Literally, it just happened. The person that I was bonding to died, and then I ended up randomly bonding to the other person. So we have two paladins in here. Means they're spend a lot. So basically, my echo got overlapped, and I lost all of my damage. And you'll see at the DPS charts at the end. So this is what I'm talking about: chaos ensuing. Basically, assume I died and aggro went all over the place. Okay. And this is nothing on Splash's Splash. It just gets chaotic, right? You don't expect to be aggro, and you see where the boss is moving, you see where the boss is facing, and I think people start dying, DPS starts lowering, and it's not really until I get my divine echo back where I regain control of things. And but here's like an example, right? This is what I was talking about. Splash in the corner here. For him, if he was here, he wouldn't get stringed here, right? So he's in the corner here for this green attack. And then blue stuns him, and he gets caught by the string, right? That was just bad timing. That was unfortunate, but just things that everyone can kind of learn from, understanding your class and your situation. Again, green into the corner, string's about to come down. This is chaotic. People get hit because, again, they don't have a dash skill. It just is what it is, or they're half second late responding, whatever. So now that I get echo back here, I should get my DPS back. Yeah, I have my burst here. I have Sakura up. And so I regain aggro here. And so now things get a little bit more under control. But still, look, blue attack to the corner. People still have to be able to all cure and dodge that attack if they can. Purple facing left. People ran out of spots for no reason. And Lotus, Damien, here it is. Okay, so you can see for the most part, another little tip that is really important is how you manage when you have to go left. Okay, so throughout this fight, you noticed that I had to move, right? Strings had to move here. So for example, here, string comes down. If I, like right there, I faced it left because green attack was going left, okay? But when there's an instance where I have to move left, I found that, okay, so I dash away, fine. No, I don't. I use my iframe there? What just happened? Yeah, it was an iframe. Okay. But I found that dashing away left is fine, but dashing back right, see, like you see right there, how I was able to get her to face right at the last second to attack right. And so what I learned was that going left when she's attacking is fine, right? She's attacking here. I dash out here. And then before she comes back to me, okay, so she's here. If I double jump right, she sees me in her hitbox kind of when I'm to the right of her, if that makes sense, which is why she faced right before she did this attack. Okay. So there's a little bit of a timing thing you have to get used to, but I think I've noticed that if you double jump back from left to right before she gets to you, so if she's here on top of me and stops, it's too late. She's going to attack left, right? Like right here, which is fine. But if she doesn't get to me yet, so I'm going to have to dodge here. I was able to dash back there just in time because I think she was in between skills. But I found that more often than not, the best strategy is if you have to go left, it's better to double jump right as she's walking left. And there's a higher chance of her facing right to attack away from the team, green attack, blue attack, whatever it is, versus if I were to dash out and dash back in, more often than not, she will end up facing left to do that next attack as I dash left, if that makes sense. Right? So play around with that. Just take note of it. Okay. If you can get into the habit of getting out and as she's walking back left to double jump back in versus dash, you'll find that more often than not, if you time it right and she's still walking left as you jump, she will face right before she does her attack. Okay, but this was a good clear. Team did really well. Got a little chaotic at the end. We tried to stun Damien and we kept missing. We had a lot of stuns and we just griefed it. But overall, DPS was pretty good. And you'll see here why I was so sad about my Divine Echo being down, because look at my charts. Right here, I missed out on legit 1 trillion damage. I was so sad. So my DPS probably would have been around the mid 1.15 trill DPM. This would have jumped up a ton, but I literally missed my burst window here because I think right here. Yeah, right here. Man, that hurts to watch. So like my Divine Echo is right here. I was supposed to bond Splash. I think I ended up bonding to Blaze, unfortunately, and my Divine Echo goes away after 5, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. It's just gone. Man, that hurts. That's so, I was so mad at that time, but it's just bad luck. It was no one's fault or anything like that. It's just I bonded to the same person, 1 out of 8 chance or something like that. So, but it is what it is. We're still able to get it done and clear. And I hope this helps you guys like just get a good grasp. You have to understand your class, okay? Understand when you can use your iframes, when you can use how to use your mobility, how to position yourself, whether you're in the corner, whether you should stand out here. And then when you get to hard mode, everything just speeds up. The pace is much faster. So a lot of the mechanics and positioning is the same. You just have to do it at a quicker pace. You have to respond faster. And a lot of the times you may even have to play out here because there's times where two of these strings can come at the same time in hard mode. And then you have to jump all the way out here to not get stringed. So I was able to get here 5 lives normal. One of my better runs. Unfortunately, the DPS could have been 15% better if I had my burst, but it is what it is. Hope this helps you guys get your Vhilla clears, get things a little sorted out a little bit better. Just like any other boss, Aggro is the guy Aggro, and is the main, like, makes it so much easier for everyone else. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.